somebody else shared it with me.
Alrighty.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting of the Nantucket Cemetery Commission to order for Wednesday, December 10th. I declare we have a quorum and we will proceed directly to the agenda. Public comment. Yeah, commissioner comments. We have a couple of approvals to do. Let's do those.
Well, that's down at item 4.
Oh, you wanted, okay.
But Fran had got some comments about.
I have comments on a couple of different things.
Okay,
As you know, we've sort of been talking with the hospital about using our colored cemetery in some way at the hospital. I've been working with Dr. Kane. So I was hoping we could have lunch this week before the meeting, but she delivers babies. So right now, unless a baby needs her immediate attention, we're going to have lunch on Friday. But she wrote to me, I spoke with Amy Lee, and she said this project would be of interest and the hospital would like to talk with you further. She said Chris Glowacki from the foundation would be the hospital's point person. I sent him the info, so he will follow up with you, which is very nice. That's what I was hoping for. And in the meantime, Dr. Kane and I are going to have a lunch meeting on Friday. Now, if and when I meet with Chris Glowacki, with the permission of the commission, I'd like to bring up 2 other items with him. One is the path from the reserved parking lots to the entrance to the cemetery is getting grown up with moss, which would make it very difficult for a person with a walker or a wheelchair to navigate it. And I really think it's up to the hospital to maintain that path. So I'd like to bring that up with them. The other thing is that the path curves.
Sure.
So when you get out of the car at the handicap parking spot, there's a path, but you don't really have any indication that it takes you into the cemetery. So I'd also like the hospital to put a sign facing the reserved parking with an arrow pointing to the cemetery. And I think that would be something the hospital should do.
yeah. And that you're talking about the road that goes in that way where there are 2 parking spaces.
When you get out of the parking spaces, the front one is handicap.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have a path that curves around a little bit and goes to the entrance to the cemetery. And that was something we negotiated with the hospital.
Yeah.
Because of the helipad. But the problem is that the path, which was, I think it was crushed stone, has gotten invaded with moss. And it's difficult.
Oh.
And the other thing is that if you get out of the car where the handicap parking spot is, there's nothing to tell you that path is going to take you into the cemetery. So I would really like it to propose to the hospital that they just put a sign that says cemetery with an arrow.
It's fine.
But I can't do either one of those things unless you all agree that I should do that.
All right.
Since Fran is already set up to meet with them, sure, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any problem with putting those signs in. In fact, I think it would be helpful for those people who, yeah, so good. Jason,
You feel okay about this?
Yeah.
Fran, just a technical thing. If the hospital agrees with everything, where will the film be seen? Where will the video be seen?
That's something I should talk with Chris Glowacki about. Originally, what Dr. Kane had in mind was a rolling kiosk that could be taken to different places. But in particular, people who are spending quite a time in the infusion and dialysis rooms, she thought that this would be a place where you could. it's also been brought up, you know, you wouldn't really have to have a rolling kiosk. You could just have a couple of iPads and offer them to people. But I think maybe we should see what the hospital suggests.
Fine. Some of the rooms have wall-mounted TVs, and I'm sure the technology exists for clicking a button and getting it up on the TV.
Yeah. I think you're right.
You can also generate a QR code from the YouTube link, and it could be just, it could be just a plaque,
Yeah.
in the room, scan this to learn about the historic color cemetery that's right behind it, and right on their own personal device would open up to the YouTube.
Well, one thing that we still have in the future, Mary Novissimo and I, we've done the captions in English for hearing impaired. That's all set. But another step we're going to do is Mary and I are going to segment the different stories so that a person who's interested in, say, the story about Eunice Ross wouldn't have to go through all the other stories to get there, but would be able to go directly to the story they're interested in. But Mary and I haven't accomplished that yet. However, we intend to.
Okay.
But I think it's really helpful that we have got the captions. They're up in the upper left-hand corner, so they don't interfere with whatever is written at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
So I do have something else to bring up, and that's the proposed inscription, which I just got today.
Mhm.
And the inscription as proposed is, this Quaker burial ground was established in 1731. And over the next century, thousands of friends, so there's a missing S there, were laid to rest there in unmarked graves, leaving the field today seemingly empty. The few existing headstones were placed later by Hicksite and Gurneyite Quakers. Now, I think this does a very good job of telling people, particularly coming in from that side where there's no signage. I think this is a really good thing, but as Lee noticed, there's a few things that need to be fixed. And the first is, it shouldn't say 1,000 of Quakers, it should say thousands of Quakers.
Well, the previous word has got a little transposition error.
What?
Century.
Yeah,
And do we really want to say the next century or centuries?
oh, well, that's another issue as well. That was something I put at the end. But as you have noted, burials took place for over more than a century.
Right.
Because if we say 1731 and then we project forward 100 years, that's 1831. At which point Quaker burials were dropping off quite rapidly, but not stopping by any means, because in 1870, Judith Bunker Paddock, who was considered the last birthright Quaker on Nantucket, was buried there. And 6 years later, an actual Civil War vet, in spite of having participated in warfare, was buried and has a headstone there. So
I thought you'd written that he'd fallen from a loft,
yes,
which was he in a barn or was he on a sailing ship?
well, I'm wondering, he has a headstone. We don't actually know whether there's a body, right? It could be just the memorial stone. But I mean, the record is that he died in a fall from a loft. So it's technically not incorrect to say that over the next century, thousands of friends were buried there, but if it implies that that was the end, then it's misleading. So that's something to think about. There, I think, should read here, because it says this Quaker burial ground, and then it says laid to rest there. Surely it should say here. And then there's a run-on. There is a comma after empty, followed by another complete sentence. So that comma should be a period.
Yeah, and it needs a space.
And then the other thing is the headstones placed by the Hicksite and Gurneyite Quakers, we should leave out later, because they were actually being buried at the same time as some of the Wilburite Orthodox Quakers, so just leave out the later. So those are my thoughts on it, and I have already provided my thoughts to Lee by email.
So how do we communicate this to LMC, or are they giving you the stone to inscribe?
I
Yeah, they'll do the inscription themselves. So they put this together, just, I believe John said when I talked to him yesterday, based on what he could, kind of some Google search stuff, and he knew that he was gonna defer it to us and Fran on what the actual wording should say. So if we have, if you have a type, if you want to type exactly what you'd like to say, I can.
Fran, I will look at Fran's suggestion, because I think it's probably close to what we want, if not exactly what we want.
I think it's very close to what would be good there, but we just need to do a little fine tuning.
Yeah, if you have an edit that you like, you could send that to me. I'll then send that to you.
In Fran's email to all of us, but you only just sent it, so some of us may not have opened
I'm
it.
not sure it went to all this. I have just gone to you, but
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't
Okay.
see one come through.
if Lee and I just discuss it a little bit and then send out an email to everybody.
And then they'll reproof it, Charlie.
Yeah.
May I ask a
Email,
question?
come to me.
Hang on,
I-
Jason.
Sorry. They're paying for the stone, correct?
It'll be a donation.
Yeah. I know I'm the new kid on the block, and you probably all won't agree with me. The one thing I was bothered by, apart from the misspellings and stuff, is that it's a traditional kind of now stone, and I know that they'll make it out of granite, but I feel like it looks like something that belongs at St. Mary's from somebody who just passed away, and I was just wondering if anybody. I was hoping for something that looked more like the stones that were there. So just like a simple rectangle.
Like a marble?
No, it doesn't have to be marble. It could still
Yeah.
be whatever they want to make it in, but just that it's more like
Okay.
just a rectangle instead of this kind of
Serpentine top. Instead of
Yeah.
the serpentine top.
I just think it's because it's the Quaker cemetery, it should be simple and Quaker
Yeah,
like.
I believe that's just a template that's in the markup, because they came last meeting, they did show it's a very simple slant front granite stone with no base, so it would be you would just be set
Oh,
on
they
the
showed us a
ground.
pic. Oh, I'm
very-
sorry.
very
I
square.
didn't remember a picture. I just remembered them saying
Yeah,
that they.
I can have them send a full full mock-up of what it would actually look like, the setup.
Why don't we send
I
them,
like that point, though. That is a good
why
point.
don't we send them the text, and then they can send us back the full mark?
Yeah, sure.
Of course, Jason, those of us who've dabbled in dimension stone much prefer granite for its longevity.
But I think Jason's point is the shape, not.
Shape the time with the rest of the cemetery.
Yeah.
It is about as far away from the headstones as it can possibly be. The idea is to have this where people enter from, what is the name of that road? Is it
Oh, it's,
Upper Vestal?
Upper
yes,
Vestal?
Upper Vestal.
A lot of people come into the cemetery that way, and they come into what they think is a completely empty field because the headstones are as far away as they can be. And I've had people tell me, oh, but the cemetery is all the way over there, and I have to explain. So I think, this is a very helpful idea, and I think it's great that it's being offered to us.
Mhm. No, I agree with that. I just was kind of like, if this, I don't know. I just felt like it would be nice if it looked something more like what was there. Just
So then what I sent to Lee is just a bit of the cemetery history. And we can send this around to everyone. A new meeting house and burial ground were established in 1731. The first burial was in 1732, and it was a man named Charles Clasby. And then they kept burying people around the meeting house until 1792, when they demolished the meeting house and built a new one at the corner of Pleasant and Main, and that opened up more free land for burials. And in 1823, the sexton, who was pretty elderly at the time and had been transporting dead friends to that cemetery for a long time, he retired, and it was said that he had buried more friends in the burial ground than were alive during the 1800s. So that would be about 3,000 people. But his daughter-in-law was the last birthright Quaker, said to be the last birthright Quaker on the island. She lived to the age of 93, and she was buried there in 1870. But we know, even after the Civil War, that we had infrequent but ongoing burials up until actually quite recently. We had a couple.
Yeah, and the transfer of funds is something that's still being maintained by several counties.
So the Nantucket Monthly Meeting records were located in Lynn, Massachusetts for a very long time. And then they migrated to Sharon, Massachusetts, and then to Centerville, Massachusetts. A lot of the records eventually came back to the NHA, and when I had a talk with Matthew Kuhner, he said if we wouldn't, Barbara and I wouldn't mind waiting a little bit, records that aren't available or that are available but fragile are all currently being scanned. And if we would just hold off a little bit before we take this project to see if we can find out
Who's there?
how many people. So, but about
Just very quickly, friend, what do we mean by birthright? It's a new word for me.
there are two kinds of Quakers. There are birthright Quakers and there are convinced Quakers.
Okay.
Birthright Quakers grow up in Quaker homes, and convinced Quakers, as adults, learn the tenets of Quakerism and become Quakers. And you would think, wouldn't you, that convinced Quakers would have a certain cachet because they've thought it over very carefully and made a commitment. But it seems to me, from all I've read, that birthright Quakers who just were Quakers because their parents and grandparents were more highly esteemed than the people who came to Quakerism because it had a deep spiritual appeal to them. Perhaps I'm mistaken, and I hope I am, because I would like to think convinced Quakers were great people. Anyway, back in before 1915, when the Nantucket Monthly meetings were located in Lynn, Massachusetts, there's a letter that was sent to William Oliver, not our William Oliver, who we all knew and loved, but another William Oliver in Lynn. Dear Sir, Benjamin Albert was over to my house the other day, and I asked of him if there was no way of keeping Mr. Butler Folger's hens and chickens out of the Friends' burial ground. My grandfather and grandmother are buried there, Thomas and Lydia Macy. Butler Folger told Mrs. Albertson that they were only eating up the grasshoppers. The ground is in bad shape from the hens. Can't you stop it? Hoping to hear from you. Yours respectfully, Charles H. Macy, 153 Main Street. P.S. You needn't bring my name in, but I am not afraid to back it up. So,
it's those touches of personal history like that that really make it come alive.
yeah. Some new friends burial ground.
Exactly, touching with the ground. Anything else, friend?
I think that is it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, let's move on to approval of minutes from our last meeting, November 12th. Those minutes were circulated.
We'll move to approval.
Okay,
I'll
and a
second.
second, all in favor? I'm sorry, roll call vote, that's right, we're on Zoom, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, Jason votes aye,
Aye.
Scotty,
I,
and chair votes aye. Thank you.
Oh, since.
Is that who? So you'll notice there's a number 3 missing there for the agenda. We go to number 4. The reason there are 2 items in that same issue that I was going to consolidate, and I just didn't get the numbers
I see.
straight. Yeah.
The layout for this football.
Yeah. So we have some lot applications at Pulpus, and we'll take them one at a time. This is from Allison McDonald, and she's in lot, or she has requested to purchase lot F5. The next one is this is Scott Wilson, F. Scott Wilson, and he is purchasing lot F2.
mhm.
And then we have Kathleen Walsh, which I think we discussed, but I'm not sure if we approved that at our last meeting because we have the form here. So we'll put that back on. So this is Kathleen Walsh at Pulpus in lot G9.
Since these are all similar lot sales, Lee moves approval of the 3, Wilson F2, McDonald F5, Walsh G9 as written in the agenda.
I second that.
Excellent. All in favor? We'll do it by
Right?
Jason,
Aye.
Scotty,
Aye.
Lee,
All right,
chair votes aye. So those are all approved. We also have an order of for inurnment. This is from Tom Kuhn at lot
H29.
H29. Thank you.
How do you spell last name?
I believe it's KOO.
Koon.
And what was the lot number again, sorry?
H. It's a H.
H.
29.
H29. Yes, indeed. We've already approved the stone. This is the wonderful stone.
Yeah.
And every time, in fact, when I was out there for the last time for Scott Wilson, I pointed out, he was asking about stones, which you could put on the stones, and I told him about the sizes, how it all worked. And then I showed him the stone for Tom Kuhn and Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out there the other day and I saw it too.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's really, it's just amazing the technology of how that can happen. I still don't understand how it.
The photolithograph.
Laser.
So do we have to do any?
Okay, so-
So I
I'm
move to
sorry.
approve Tom Coon's
Okay,
lot H29.
great.
Lee seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Graham, Jason,
Aye.
Scotty,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well.
And then the split rail fence.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. I had a site visit, while I was out there, I think maybe a week or so ago, with 2 people from the DPW. And they wanted to know exactly where the fence was going along the woodland side there. So I showed them where the 2 boundary markers are, and they're going to run that. I did mention to them about the encroachment on the cemetery, but we're not putting a fence down where that that is. But I did raise the question about the fence going from the end of the encroachment down to the road. Sort of abuts their parking area and their septic system. And so I thought I'd better bring it back to the commission to see whether or not we want to add that section of fence or not. The main thing is that the boundary along I think it's the east side, separating the woods from where all the stones and stuff are. So any thoughts about that piece of land abutting their septic system? Do we need a split rail fence?
When you're talking about that, if we're on the road and you look at the house, I'm holding my hands up so I can see them. They're opposite to where Frank can see them. But we're on the road looking at the house, and on the right-hand side is the house. There is some space, and then there's this barn and shed, and it's the barn that encroaches. You're talking about a fence from that point down to the road, or from the encroachment back to the far corner?
Oh, no, just that section from the encroachment to the road. And I have sort of mixed feelings about it. I try to visualize what it would, any positive or any negative, and I couldn't really decide whether it was worthwhile putting a section.
Are you talking about from here to here? Roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's good to have the split rail fence defining the property.
I do.
All right, I'll pass that on then to Mo.
So it's two sides.
Road,
The back end by the woods,
right,
and then the shorter piece from the encroachment to the road.
correct.
Well, actually, to the town is more.
Yeah, to the mountains, yeah. Good. Okay, and I asked when then the DPW might have a chance to get to it, and he said that they'd like to get it done before winter hits. So
It's coming with another bang on Monday.
yeah, I know, I
Really?
know. Well, but they said, they're kind of slotting their work in depending on the weather forecast and the time that they have available. Okay, so that would put Pulpus in pretty good shape.
Do you know exactly when it was that you went out there? Today's Wednesday, December the 10th. A week ago was December the 3rd.
Yeah.
I believe that it was December 3rd.
Okay.
That's
It's good enough. That's what's gonna go in the minutes. Thank you.
okay. Next item, number 5, is monument restoration project. I was amazed.
Stones look great.
Hmm?
They look great.
They do.
Yeah.
The stones. I noticed
Oh, it's the first thing I noticed when I drove down there when I got back.
exactly.
Oh,
It's really amazing how they really stand out, both at Newtown and at the historic colored cemetery as well. And of course, where whatever it is. So anyway, the guys are doing incredible work as far as getting the stones in shape. There's still 2 stones in Newtown Cemetery. One is propped up against
Kind
something.
of box as well as prop.
Yeah,
That's quite visible,
yeah, right.
but I assume that they're continuing to.
Yeah, exactly. I assume that it's a work in
It's
progress.
Walter.
Yep, Helmsy.
Oh, I think Walter explained to us when he was here that they knew it was there and were they waiting for an epoxy to set or,
I believe or something. Yeah.
I think that was, I vaguely remember.
and
that's what the-
they will attend to it.
Yeah, they were. They pulled off the island last week with Stroll stuff coming. It's
Yeah.
all the with all the holiday stuff, all the prices for
Yeah,
to stay on the island spike and stuff like that. They also were awarded the contract for New North.
right.
They were the winning bidder there.
It's going to be a big job.
That'll be
Yeah, that's, I think that,
A lot of them,
Is there a public price?
There is. I can.
yeah, there's a lot of.
It was on last week's select
It was on the list.
on the list. I will get it for you.
But I was really amazed when
Because I was there for a different project.
when I walked into Newtown. I've been usually go by and I tried to do a walk around inspection. And I hadn't been in Newtown for, I don't know, 4 weeks or whatever. And it really stood out from it how white the stones were, how nice and clean they all looked, and that. So
another thing is that along the back fence, things are growing to the point where they are producing more of a screen between the cemetery and what's on the other
right.
side.
47,700.
47,7.
700.
Thank you.
that's
That's below the estimate too, isn't it?
Far.
oh, that's the estimate.
No, that's the.
I originally estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of 70,000.
Well, they're doing a terrific job. They're going through and they had a request. They wanted to do a stone. They mentioned at our last meeting. And I forgot off the top of my head what they were proposing.
I believe there's one stone that's in the ground that they won't be able to stand up. It's turning to sugar.
Yeah.
And so just like they did in Old North, I believe the proposal was to encase it in mortar or something so it would maintain its integrity, but they will not be able to stand it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I hope that it's in the ground with the inscription on the top.
I believe so. I believe it is able to, the inscription grades. They'll clear any growth that's coming around it and box it.
Well, again, they're really doing a great job with it. And it's nice to have a responsible group of people who are in there.
Is that when doing that, they will also treat the rest of the stones in Old North, because what they did there, they thought they're only going to clean the stones that they worked on, which created this patchwork. So there are a few very clean stones and a lot that aren't. And I think,
Yeah, so that was, we only asked them to clean and treat the stones they repaired. That was all that was in the scope of work.
Yeah.
When we asked,
is it possible for them?
I'm going to have them
Yeah.
quote me. So as they did when they went into Newtown to start that project,
Exactly.
I asked them to give me a quote as to what it would take to do. Again, the original ask was the same to treat the stones they were repairing.
Right.
But I did ask for a quote, and we have them, given
Yeah.
the proceeds. They are treating the entirety of Newtown for us. And so once they get into New North, we'll take a look. There's a lot of stones there. So
Well, if what they're charging for New North is so significantly under what you estimated, then it would seem like we ought to have enough money to pay them to go over across the street and finish up cleaning those stones.
Yeah, it's just a matter of procurement.
Okay, anything else on monument restoration? Next, Newtown Cemetery, nothing new on Newtown that I'm familiar with.
I have reached out to Leo Asadorian, Blackwell Associates, for surveying. And so I asked him for a quote to do the 81L. I think, was that what we were looking for, Lee?
Yeah.
And then to do either a recordable or just the bound survey for the other lots. So he and I have had a conversation. He's going to do a little digging and get back to you with an estimate to do that for us.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but I will say I also noticed that a bunch of split rail fence has been replaced in Newtown.
Oh, yes, yeah. Wait a minute. I was, which side?
They did the side along, we call it the west side and the south side. So the back perimeter, I noticed that yesterday. I drove by the brand new fence rails caught my eye.
Did they just do it?
Yeah, I must have been in the last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was in there and I didn't notice.
Yeah, it caught my eye going up along the perimeter of the softball field there, and then the back perimeter by the flagpole. I saw a bunch of new rails.
When I was in there, I did make a note to myself to bring up the fence. It was decayed, so good.
It's already been done.
Already been done. Look at that.
Different crew. It's easier to have a crew to run out to replace rails than to drill and set posts.
Now, Tracy is preparing a warrant article for, what is it, lot 46?
I believe.
Yeah. It's okay. I think we could make a big step, but she likes to make little steps.
Well, at least they're going forward with it. And between the two of them, they're both very, they have a lot of, they're well qualified, first of all, but they have a ton of work that they're working on, a number of other town projects and this, that, and other things. So we'll give them some slack for fencing at Historic Colored. All right, that's taken care of. Again, I had a site visit with Mo and what's the sign?
Right.
Oh, yeah, right. And I pointed out where it was.
Ray Sylvia.
Ray Sylvia.
Yeah.
And I pointed out that it would be nice to have an entrance where the path comes in from Vesper.
We were discussing putting granite posts on either side. Did we ever do that? Where you come in from that paved path from Vesper Lane to the cemetery, and we were talking about putting a pair of granite posts there. I remember this discussion, but
That was a year or more ago.
but we never did it.
Now, where would we have put?
If you're walking over Nancy Severance Lane
Yeah.
and go into Historic Cemetery, there is a gate, but it's not marked.
Yeah, it's just
an opening.
it's just an opening in the grass.
We did discuss putting a granite post on either side of the opening to make it clearly an entrance to the cemetery, but I guess we kind of dropped the ball on that.
Well, not really, because as I say, when I met with the guys from the DPW out there, I said, look, we're going from this corner to this corner. We want the whole way, except that where that path comes in, because the land bank does mow the path. Could they put two posts there, or,
Wooden posts you're talking
yeah,
about.
well, the split rail fence would go to here,
Mhm.
and they would have a gap in the split rail and then start the next flow down, so.
Right. But we had discussed simply putting
A
a
granite,
granite post on either side because that would make it more clearly an entrance to the
Ah,
cemetery.
we do have two, public, well, they say public footpath.
We would have to buy new granite.
Well, we have, well, that's right, it's not really a public way though, it's, yeah, right. So we'll take that into consideration, but we'll get the fence up first and then see if we want to add, anything as
If
far
you
as.
can note to yourself to tell us how much that would cost.
Sure.
Okay, it's item number 8. I've been thinking about the future of the commission with all the changes that are going on in the town and everything else and so on. And I'm trying to think ahead to who's going to be left. So I have two thoughts in mind here. One is what projects, what remains to be done in the 9 town cemeteries that we, that we might want to instigate as a project. As we've gone along over the years, we've come up with these projects internally among the group. And we say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and we've moved pretty amazingly through all the 9 cemeteries as far as the monument restoration and as far as trimming brush and all those other things. So I'm trying to think of what other items might be on future cemetery commission agendas.
The big one is total revision and restoration in Newtown.
Yeah, well, that's
So we have so much to do there.
Yeah.
To find out where the graves are. And
Yeah.
to see what space we have left.
Yeah.
It's
If any.
it's a big job.
Yeah.
I think that it doesn't just loom on the horizon, it's always with us.
I know. Well, I think of that, and I'm well aware of that the only burial spaces in town cemeteries are pulpits. That's it. And that's the way it was when we started. But at that point, there were not even a pulpits. We had space, but we didn't have any lots laid out. So we laid out 130 lots initially at Pulpus. And then we recently have laid out, well, fairly recently, have laid out an additional, either it's 110 or 115, I forget the number now. We've lost a few because I made the mistake of missing the line that went through there.
I noticed that the flags are still on the ground.
Well, that's
They've
because,
actually been moved from
Have
where
they
they
moved?
were on the ground to a new place on the ground where they should be. And we're waiting for tow markers to
Yeah.
fill up that area.
exactly. Yeah, and so that's what we're waiting for. We have some of the toe markers, but that we have rows J and K, I think. No, whatever the next 2 rows are. Oh,
It's like a triangle.
yeah.
Do
So
you have any sense, Scott, of when this project will finally be
I have to
complete?
defer it to my tow marker guy.
We're waiting. They're in process.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
then we'll probably run into some frozen ground.
and these are probably the last lots that will sell because these are the ones by the road. Except for the top rows. I wasn't sure we wanted to really lay out the top row, but as long as we're laying them out, we may as well.
But the work's been done to figure out where they
They
have
are,
to go.
exactly.
Actually, putting them in is quick. So
It's just that I feel in a way, having had those flags in the cemetery for months and months and months, that when there comes to be an interment, it's not very respectful to the people doing it, to have these little colored flags all over the place.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a process.
We're done with that project, the better.
Well, that's something that both Scotty and I have been thinking about, worrying about and trying to figure out.
So it's the toe marker guy that we're waiting on.
The guy that makes them, yeah.
All right, so
Well,
Sure.
The sign up in the corner of the Friends Burial Ground, the Quaker Cemetery, at the intersection of Matticat Road and Quaker Road, it's in such deplorable shape. And I think I've asked in the past, when will it be repainted? And I gather that there's a real backlog of painting signs, but that one really needs to be repainted.
So this is in New.
No, it's Quaker Cemetery, corner of Matticat Road and Quaker Road. There's a very large wooden sign that, among other things, says that the headstones are those of the heretical Friends.
Which is true.
It's it's very public place. That is a very busy intersection, and that is the real public face of that cemetery, and the sign is in such bad shape. So I'm just putting in a plug for getting it.
Charlie,
repainted.
is it appropriate to ask for a work order?
It's in,
Okay.
Oh,
it's just, it's a big sign and it kind of takes, it kind of falls off the list when, it's the sign shop just with replacing, street signs and all the other stuff,
Don't let it fall
on
off.
painting. But I know Ray says he has all the language.
Is Ray still the sign guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with all his other duties.
Okay. Well, I put in my word for it again.
Okay, well, good. All right, any other thoughts as far as things we might consider as a commission?
Well, I don't have any good ideas, but recruiting new members. The challenge is that as a commission, it's not easy to expand to incorporate new people and then contract after other people retire.
Well, Mike Harrison has an interest in joining the commission. It's just that Jason came on to fill that space. And when we get another space, I have a lot of confidence that Mike will step into it.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, that's something we'll be aware of until when's the next?
Who's the next?
Yeah.
Is it me or is it Barbara?
Barbara's going.
Barbara's off.
Jason is.
Jason is Barbara.
Hi, Jason. I thought she's just still in New Zealand. So it's me. Yeah. So
Okay. So Scotty, are you up next?
Yeah.
And you're gonna.
I'm not. Oh, that'll be the end for me.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
That'd be Alan and Scott.
Ellen will be here.
Alan will be here.
I'll be
You
here.
better be here.
Yeah. So Alan and Scott this year.
And I'll
And
just be on call.
Yeah,
Lee and Fran at 27.
yeah.
When what?
You're 26.
What day?
It's the turn of the fiscal year.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or July to June.
Oh, did everybody get a notice about a conflict of interest?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Completed.
Oh,
Gold star.
you've done your.
Yes.
Done mine yet, but I will quite soon.
There are short tests. They come toward the end.
I know. No, I have done that test. I can't tell you how many times over the years.
every 2 years.
Absolutely
Yeah,
refuse to spend another hour wading through that stuff. I mean, talk about boring and
They're required to do it every 2 years.
We could change it to every year if you. like.
yeah, right. But I managed to sneak out a couple. Anyway, that's one of the low points of serving the town, having to go through that sort of thing. Okay, old, new, other business or final comments, Scotty?
Absalom,
What would you like
Boston.
to talk about? So I just remembered that I forgot to send you email about all the headstone types before I went to New Zealand. However, I found that email, I printed it out. And this is what is in the email, the wording that Fran gave me and the various different styles that we can represent it and the different stone types that we can do with it. Okay. And so what I suggest is that I send that email again and we vote on it on the next meeting.
No, let's vote on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, then you have to choose what stone you would prefer.
Oh, you got a picture of
Yeah.
the one that we put up for my home
why is
system.
it blue?
It's actually, it's marble and it's white.
Yeah.
It's just, it was
Shadow.
shadow.
Okay.
So we have sort of an upright,
Right, so that's the one that's at Quaker.
right. Then we,
And that's a gray granite
mhm,
with sandblast face. And that's the same as the woman's
see.
monument in
Thank you.
Founders. Same shape.
mhm,
Oh,
And then you have what is typical with a
which is this.
slant top, gray granite marker.
Yeah.
And then we have like the marble tablet that goes into the ground, or we can do a marble tablet, a marble stone that looks similar to that.
Okay, well, you've heard my comments about granite.
Yes.
I'm a granite man.
You're granite, yeah.
yeah, me too.
So as far as we should vote on the medium first, right? What would you like it to be,
Right.
granite or marble?
I move granite.
Jason?
Jason, what do you
I'd
think?
like to, I can't remember what's else is there and what's next to.
At the historic color cemetery, it's mostly marble. But there is gray granite as well.
And what other people of it, what is, Fran, can you remind us who else is there from the family that and what their stones look
Oh,
like?
Absalom's first two wives. His sister-in-law Mary, the two of the children are on stones that are actually in the ground. One is upright for one of his sons. And then, of course, there's Phoebe Ann's grave that we recently restored because her footstone had come loose and had been actually in the town clerk's vault until we reset it. And those are all white marble stones. Except maybe Mary Boston Douglas is actually, it's gray, isn't it?
I understand the wish for compatibility. But I think of our older marble monuments that are almost illegible because of weathering.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree. The granite holds up a lot better. And we're talking
This
couple
one,
of years from now.
this monument is quite fairly similar to Paul Cuffey's in Dartmouth. Some descendants of his put in a memorial stone for him. and it's low. My thought is that a lot of people, when they come to the cemetery, what they want to see is Absalom and Hannah's stone, which of course there isn't one. And so I tend to feel more strongly about a vertical stone so that from a distance you can point and you'll see it, as opposed to a more parallel stone, which would be kind of hard to spot. I have to say that like Jason, I would be sort of happy to see something tall and white, but I understand your concerns about durability.
So I guess that's the bind.
I guess we just vote.
Yeah. So we know.
I secondly for granite.
Okay, so granite. One or the other.
So saying Barbara White was in favor of granite.
I'll just say one more thing. It's not overwhelmingly marble that it would feel out of place to have granite, because the lady we did the stones for a few years back
Oh,
were
yes.
all granite markers.
That's true.
Yeah, and there are other granite ones we've done for Augie as a favor, you know, and
I think what Jason was bringing up was the family group, the Boston family,
yes.
which isn't very close to the Carters.
And I just to recall the Boston stones have this similar look. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. So, and my preference would be for something more vertical and horizontal, just so that you could point it out to people from a distance.
Oh, that's the next vote.
That's your next one.
I have another question. Are we marking the back of it in some way? Is there something because it's been a while, that notes that we have placed it there so that people don't come thinking that that's an original stone, even though at first it won't look like an original stone? Is there something? Sorry, I come at this from like a conservation perspective. So like, are we putting something on the, like, is there something on back that maybe like said this stone was erected in 2026 by the Nantucket, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's,
We don't have plans for that, but I mean, I'm not opposed to doing that. Coming up
Is
with
that
the
something
wording,
we've traditionally done when
we
the
have
commission has placed the stone?
like a memorial stone. for
Yeah, like
someone.
if is there anything on at Founders, say, because the commission placed those
No,
stones, there's nothing there to signify that they were placed by the commission.
I'm also kind of coming at it from Fran's film, because my son did the, so it's like there's no stone here. How could that be? Like I think it like adds a confusion level, and then all of a sudden there is a stone there, and where did the stone come from? Like it's nice to like put something, if it could be very small, but and maybe nobody wants to do it, but it's just to like clarify what's going on. You know what I'm saying? For posterity, instead of us all being like,
just
how did
engraved on
that
that.
get there?
On the back,
Yeah, and we'll
Yeah.
come up with the wording for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a suggestion. I'm just bringing
I'm not opposed to
everybody
it,
can
Bill.
say, heck no, that we don't want to do that. I
That's the
just
third vote, Jason.
say that again.
That's the third vote. Right, the third round.
Step by step.
So we're on granite right now, right? And we got
Right,
six.
granite.
Okay,
Okay. Leah's granite.
I vote aye.
Granite.
Okay. Jason.
I'm still stuck with marble, but
Okay.
I'm the new kid on the block, so
But it passes. Next is shape. Let's do shape and date all in one.
So shape, Fran likes this one the most. I like this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Myself, Lee.
Yep.
I'm gonna move that we use this style, or you can, Fran. And I'll second it.
okay,
yes, I'm okay
Would
with
that
that.
include that style of inscription without the black?
So that isn't black, just looks black. It's just a shape.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it was sometimes it painted in.
So do you want to move it?
Okay, I move that the shape of the Boston Monument will be the vertical granite,
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, Fran,
right?
Scotty,
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Aye. And chair votes aye. Nice.
Neat.
I think the text is an editorial amendment. Go ahead.
Yes, so the text. That's what you gave me.
Okay, and Lee, what do you wish to?
Just on the reverse,
Oh,
this monument erected by the Cemetery Commission.
so the text that I suggested was in memory of Captain Absalom F. Boston, 1785 to 1855, husband and father, whaling master, entrepreneur, citizen, and Hannah Cook Boston, 1795 to 1857, wife and mother, stewardess on the steamship Island Home.
Yep.
Maybe on the back, in pretty small letters, but not tiny,
Yep.
we say erected in, this is going to be in 2026.
Yes.
Erected 2026 by the Nantucket Cemetery Commission.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do you think that's
That's fine. I mean, again, you don't have to, I just feel like I'm very big on being,
Well,
I don't want to leave a trace, but leaving a little trail so that people understand why something was done or who did it or how it was done. Not necessarily, even if it just says erected in 2026, that would be.
I'm very like-minded about houses.
You
I've had the
see the
feeling modern houses that are built to look sort of like traditional Nantucket houses should have some signage on them saying the year that they were built. But they don't. I mean, why put the burden on the people who own the genuinely old houses to put the dates on them? Shouldn't we make the people who build the new ones date theirs?
Well, it says in memory of, so it kind of implies.
It is implying that it came later, but
Okay, is there any other business to come before the commission? Scott?
so? What funds are we taking this from? Is this from cemetery improvement?
Yeah, do you
And I
want
need
to send
to
me the
get you the
cost
price
estimate?
for that now that we know what we're doing.
Yep, yeah, send it to me and I'll drop
Is
you.
that something that gets voted on next meeting?
We're done.
Okay. So it could be $1 million and we're doing it.
It can be. And
Nice try.
you and I can negotiate down the appropriate amount of funds that we have.
Right.
And-
Well, just so you know, the price range is gonna be 8 to 9 pounds. Okay. So
when do you think you would have it done by?
I would say, just with the rate of everything being done, it's probably within 6 months.
So it might be done by Juneteenth or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That would be
How about
nice.
we make that a goal?
Yeah, I think that would be kind
That
of
should
really
have
appropriate.
a dedication on Juneteenth.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Wow.
Okay.
Information, you have to adjust the guided tour that you embark on to include the new stone.
Maybe we have to edit the film too.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, once again, any other business to come before the commission this afternoon? Seeing none, I declare that we are at the end of our agenda and the meeting is adjourned.
Now.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks all. Bye. See you in the new year.
Right.